If you are on the hunt for a set of affordable open-style earbuds, then you have come to the right place, as today I'm going to show you 5 different options you can choose from under the $100 mark. Now let's get stuck in. Hi everyone, my name is Andy and you're watching Andy's Tech Tone. So I've got the following open earbuds to test and compare. First, there is the QCY Crossky C30 for around $35, which is our cheapest option today. Then comes the Nank OE mix for about $55, which sits right in the middle as far as pricing. For just a bit more, you can get the Truefree O2, which costs about $60, while another similarly priced option is the Soundpeats GoFree 2, which goes for around $65. And as of making this video, the most expensive of the bunch is the most recently announced Soundcore AeroFit 2, which barely made the cut with its price tag of $99.99. Now let's see the details of each, starting with their fit and comfort. What may stand out at first is the clip-on design and the small size of the QCY buds. Thanks to the rubber arch that connects the front to the back, the C30 is easy to put on and it's extremely comfortable in the long run. The Nank, the Soundpeats and the Truefree come with more traditional ear hooks, which can provide a secure and comfortable fit on each. The ear hooks are a bit on the flimsy side on all three, which we will get back to in a minute, but their fit is snug enough for everyday use and also for casual physical activities such as running or cycling. And while the QCY buds can also be used for running, I would be hesitant to use them on a bike, as it's easier to knock them off of your earlobes by accident. What might be the best fit for cyclists, however, is the AeroFit 2, because these are not only comfortable, but thanks to the adjustable hinge on the ear hooks, these can be very snug and tight-fitting as well. There are 4 different positions you can set each ear hook in, so these buds can accommodate multiple ear sizes easily. I also found that the smallest setting gives me the most secure fit, while any of the other 3 can deliver better comfort in the long run, so I can always tailor the fit to the activity of what I actually do. The other 4 buds either fit your ears or they don't, regardless of the use case. So the Soundcore buds win the fit and comfort test, despite the fact that these are the heaviest of the bunch. If you want something different and low profile, then the C30 is your best bet, while the other 3 are kind of similar with only slight differences in their overall design and build quality. And on that note, I would say that the Soundcore buds are the winners, as even though all 5 buds are made mostly from plastic and the build quality is decent across the board, the AeroFit 2 feels the most robustly built. The IP ratings kind of confirm that too, as looking at the official specs, we can see that it's only the Soundcore buds that offer both a dust and waterproof rating, while the others are only officially rated and tested as far as water resistance is concerned. All 4 ear hooks and that little arch on the QCY are coated with soft-to-touch silicone, but while the speaker units on the Nank, on the Truefree and on the Soundpeats are also silicone coated, the QCY and the Soundcore both use harder plastic around their speakers. Not that I noticed any difference as far as comfort, but some of you might prefer one or the other. In terms of build quality, I would highlight the QCY buds here, as they don't feel any cheaper at all, while costing significantly less than any of the others. The AeroFit 2 earbuds again feel the most premium, but it's no surprise considering the relatively high price tag they carry. Soundcore also gives you the most color options, namely 4, as you can find on their website. And while QCY also offers 3 including white, purple and black, the OE mix and the GoFree 2 are only available in black, with orange being the only color the Truefree O2 comes in. Onto the carry cases, there is some variation in terms of size and build quality. Starting with my favorite, which is also the most compact of them all, the QCY case has a comfortable grip, a pocket-friendly form factor and a springy hinge on its lid. The buds are very easy to grab, so this case is a joy to use on the daily. It's an extremely solid design for under just $40. The Soundcore case is my runner-up of sorts, thanks to its slim profile. There is also plenty room inside for the earbuds, regardless of which setting we use on the rotatable ear hooks. What I don't like about this case is the fact that the hinge is not the most solid, and there is also the huge and powerful LED at the front, which, while could come in handy as a torch in an emergency, can be really annoying when lighting up the whole room as I try to put away the buds while in bed already. So maybe I should rank the Soundpeats case as second instead. It's thicker than the Soundcore case, but the hinge is more firm and springy, providing you with a hassle-free access to the earbuds, and the whole case has this nice rubbery coating all around, which gives you a secure grip. The Nank case is a touch more compact than either the Soundcore or the Soundpeats, but the hinge on its lid is loose, and it keeps flapping around when fully open. That and the tight space around the buds inside make it less comfy to take the buds out. And last, there is the absolute toy-like Truefree case. I like the bright orange color, but it has the biggest footprint of them all, and that textured grey coating lends it a very cheap look. That said, Truefree claims that their case was made with a new, environmentally friendly spray-free material, which also happens to be scratch-resistant, so maybe it's all good and it will prove to be durable in the long run. Another positive is the hinge, which pops up to a hard stop, so there is no flapping around, which helps when taking the buds out. Next, let's quickly talk about battery life. The single charge playtime varies between 5.5 and 10 hours, while the total playtime can be anything between 22 and 42. The clear winner here is Soundcore, and that's true even before we would consider the fact that the AeroFit 2 is the only one that supports both wireless charging and fast charging. All the other 4 cases can be charged through their USB Type-C ports only, and none of them can fast charge the earbuds. As for wireless connectivity, there is a variety of options we get with these 5 buds. Truefree and Soundpeats come with a version 5.3 compliant Bluetooth chip on board, while the other 3 boast 5.4. All support the AAC and the SBC audio codecs, but only the Soundcore and the Soundpeats buds can handle LDAC. Not that either the codec support or the Bluetooth version will impact everyday use in any meaningful way in my opinion. What might make a difference, however, is dual device connection and automatic switching. And the only one that does not support this feature is the Nank OE mix, which in some cases can hinder productivity in an office scenario. The other 4 can connect to 2 devices at the same time and can also switch between them automatically. But what can further improve set productivity is the option to manually switch between previously connected devices using an app, and the AeroFit 2 is the only one that can do exactly that. Multipoint gets disabled on both the Soundpeats and on the Soundcore buds as soon as we switch to the LDAC codec, so that's something you have to keep in mind. All 5 support single bud mode, so you can use one earbud at a time while the other one is being charged inside the case. The Nank, the Soundpeats and the Truefree buds can be turned on and off using only their touch controls, and you can do the same trick even in single bud mode. The Soundcore and the QCY buds can only be powered on and off using their respective carry cases, which somewhat limits their flexibility in everyday use. I did not experience any lip sync or connection issues during my tests with any of the buds, and all 5 comes with a low latency game mode in their smartphone app. Except for the Nank, which comes with no app, so instead we can enable the game mode with 4 taps on either of the buds. And while the OE mix has no app support whatsoever, each of the other 4 do. Soundpeats have actually 2 apps, the old one called Soundpeats and the new one called Peats Audio with an upgraded UI. But strangely enough, the new app is missing the game mode switch, while the old app still has it, so not sure what to make of that. Regardless of which app we use though, we can disable the touch controls, but cannot remap their functionality, and we can switch between LDAC and multipoint modes. We also got a few sound profile presets and a 10-band manual EQ. The Truefree app is similar in terms of its basic features, such as the 10-band custom EQ, the game mode switch, or the option to disable all the touch controls. But in this case, we can also customize the functionality of the controls. The single, double, triple tap and long press actions can all be remapped. QCY gives us all that too, except for the long press, as it's not available at all, but we can also fine-tune the sensitivity of the touch panels on the C30 buds. In addition to all the basics such as the EQ settings and the game mode switch, we do get the usual auto-off timer, which turns off the buds after a set time period in case of no Bluetooth signal. But there is also a customizable timer, so the earbuds will turn off at any time we set them to, even with an active connection. That, along with the sleeping mode, which practically disables the touch controls, can make these buds perfect for use in bed before going to sleep. And their small size will also help in this case. On with the QCY app, we get a Find Headset feature with a map of the last known location of the buds and the option to ping them too. There is a spatial sound effect switch as well, just like in the Soundcore app where it's called 3D surround sound, but let's just forget about both, as neither of these two will do anything good to the sound of the buds. But the rest of the Soundcore app is rather impressive. Sound profile presets, an 8-band manual EQ, fully customizable controls, a game mode switch, an ADX switch, an auto power-off timer, and Find Device are all on offer. Plus, we get the dual connections menu with a list of previously connected devices and the option to use widgets with shortcuts to certain settings. All 4 smartphone apps are available on both Android and iOS. 2 of my favorites are the QCY and the Soundcore due to their similar feature set. I prefer the more handsome UI of the Soundcore app, and I also like having the dual connections menu, but the QCY app is also stacked with options, and the sleeping timer is something I would consider using on a regular basis, and that's unique to the Crossky C30. Onto the controls, all earbuds have touch panels on each side, and all can control phone calls and media playback, including play pause, tracks and volume. My personal favorites are the big, easy to use and quick to react touch panels on the GoFree too. But these are the only controls that cannot be remapped in their own app, so that's something you may want to keep in mind. The panels on the AeroFit 2 also work well, but I had to disable the single tap action as I found that I accidentally triggered it a couple of times when adjusting the angle of the earhooks, for example. But again, at least we got the option to disable or change the functionality of any of the tapping actions. The Truefree O2 also comes with large, easy-to-use touch panels and custom settings, but since there is a tiny little gap between my ears and the earbuds, every time I use the touch controls, I also push the buds to my ear. I experienced a similar issue with the Nank OE mix, but strangely enough only on my left ear, so probably it's only a me problem and your mileage may vary. And while the touch controls work well on the OE mix, we got no app support and as such no custom settings either. And even though the QCY app gives us full customization for the touch controls on the Crossky C30, the panels themselves are a bit of a hassle to use as they are located behind your ears, and whether you want to tap them with your thumb or you want to use your index finger, it's just not comfy at all. Maybe it's best to use both, so tapping with the thumb while holding the buds in place with the index finger at the front, but I wish they rather put some old-fashioned buttons there instead of touch panels. But that's enough of the controls, now let's hear some microphone samples. Starting with the Nank OE mix, this is the sound quality you can expect from the built-in mics when making a phone call in a quiet environment. Next up is an audio sample from the built-in mics on the QCY Crossky C30. So this is the phone call quality you can expect from these earbuds in a quiet environment. Moving on to the Soundcore AeroFit 2, this is the phone call quality you can expect from the built-in mics on these earbuds in a quiet room. Next is the Soundpeats GoFree 2. So this is the audio quality the built-in mics can deliver when you happen to make a phone call in a quiet environment. And before we move this whole party outside, one last sample from a quiet room. So this is the phone call quality you can expect from the built-in mics on the Truefree O2. Now on with some outside mic samples. As I promised, it's gonna get windy and noisy, so brace yourselves. This is an audio quality test of the built-in microphone, the Nank OE mix, outside on a windy day with some traffic noise in the background. This is the audio quality of the built-in microphone of the QCY Crossky C30 outside on a windy day with some traffic noise in the background. This is an audio quality test of the built-in microphone on the Soundcore AeroFit 2 outside on a windy day with some traffic noise in the background. This is an audio quality test of the built-in microphone on the Soundpeats GoFree 2 outside on a windy day with some traffic noise in the background. This is a sound quality test of the built-in microphones on the Truefree O2 outside on a windy day with some traffic noise in the background. Listening to all these outside mic samples was probably not the most comfortable experience, but now let's move on to the sound quality of the earbuds. Despite the large 16.2mm dynamic drivers inside the Soundpeats GoFree 2, these buds lack extension in the bass, and we get a less than substantial punch in the mid-bass too. What we don't get is distortion though, so while the lower registers are not the most powerful, the output is clean at all levels. The mid-range could be a touch richer and more forward, as everything sounds a bit boxy to me. The treble of the GoFree 2 is not the brightest, nor it is the most detailed, and the soundstage is closed in, with not much air or spaciousness in the presentation. What I found is that if I push the earbuds a bit closer to my ear canals, the bass suddenly feels more impactful and the mids get an extra bit of warmth. So maybe it's just a positioning/fitting issue with my ears. And the flimsy ear hooks do not help either when it comes to keeping the speakers in the right spot. And maybe the same issue can be blamed for the complete lack of bass impact on the Nank OE mix as well. The 16.2mm dynamic drivers themselves are capable of delivering a hefty enough and punchy bass, but thanks to the less than ideal positioning of those speakers on my ears, the mid bass is barely tactile enough. But at least we get great clarity across the rest of the frequency range. The mid-range is detailed and open, and we also get loads of energy and great extension in the treble. Maybe a bit too much of that as well, which can make the sound overly bright at higher volumes. The lack of bass along with the open mids and energetic highs results in an excellent voice intelligibility, which makes the OE mix best suited for podcasts and videos. But your mileage might vary, as with optimal positioning, the Nank buds can deliver a dynamic and energetic sound with music as well. The QCY buds can pack a punch, considering that these are not only the tiniest of them all, but the 10.8mm drivers inside are also the smallest of the group. Probably is the positioning of the speakers again that help with the perception of more bass in this case. And it's not just bass we get more of, but also presence and lifelike tonality across the mid-range. Vocals sound forward without being too much in your face. The treble is toned down a little, resulting in a warm and smooth sonic character overall. The only downside of the C30 sound is that there is a noticeable distortion somewhere in the mid-bass region at higher volumes. Not quite sure where it comes from, and it's not always detectable. It can always be just my sample, and there has to be a certain note in some songs that doesn't resonate that well with the drivers inside the QC buds. Or quite the opposite, it resonates too well, if you know what I mean. Onto the Truefree O2, these buds turn it up a notch as far as bass impact and overall dynamics. We still don't have a deep bass extension from the 15mm drivers, but the lower octaves are definitely more present here. The lower mids are a touch recessed and hollow sounding, but the upper mids and the highs are a bit boosted, giving us a bit of a shouty impression. Vocals are forward, but some warmth in their sound could help, especially with male vocals, which sound thin. There is no problem with clarity, as the earbuds are good at conveying the musical details in the higher octaves, but the upper end can get too bright if we push the volume closer to the max. And at high output levels, the bass can get a bit grainy as well. And last, there are the Soundcore AeroFit 2 buds, which are the only ones with a decent bass extension. In fact, a powerful bass such as this is rare in the open-ear segment. It's still not earth-shatteringly deep, but the bass impact is definitely much closer to that of what traditional in-ear buds can deliver. And when it's paired with rich and open enough mids and smooth but extended and detailed highs, then I guess we are onto a winner. One caveat is that the higher we go in volume, the bass gets more and more rolled off, but at least the output remains clean across the whole volume range. This lower octave roll-off is present in all 5 earbuds to various degrees, by the way, with some distortion in the bass of the C30 and the Truefree only when it's all maxed out. And speaking of maxing out the volume, the AeroFit 2 is the loudest, followed by the Truefree, the Soundpeats, the QCY, and the Nank in that order. And before I wrap things up, I would like to give you 2 more options as honorable mentions, if you will. First, there is the One Audio Open-Rock S, which was featured in the same comparison last year, and I was wondering whether I should put it in here instead of the Nank OE mix. The Open-Rock S has a much more robust design with adjustable ear hooks and a carry case twice as big as that of the Nank. Neither buds support multipoint, nor do they come with a smartphone app. The OE mix has volume controls, but the Open-Rock S does not. The One Audio buds cost about $70, which is $15 more than the Nank as of making this video, so the OE mix simply offers better value in a more compact package. But if you dig their robust build quality, then the Open-Rock S is still a great option for its price. The other honorable mention would be the One More S30, which was also featured in my comparison last year. But One More have recently come out with some updates, such as the S31 and the S51, both costing less than $100. And I didn't want to include an already obsolete option with the S30 in this video, but I'm still waiting to get my hands on those new up-to-date models, so as soon as I get them, I will let you know if they are worthy of your hard-earned money. And on the note of what's worthy, now let me give you a final verdict on these 5 I just tested today. In my opinion, if you want the absolute best while drawing the line at $100, then there is no question that the Soundcore AeroFit 2 is the winner here. From its flexible design, through all of its useful features, all the way to its enjoyable sound, the AeroFit 2 is the one to beat in this price bracket. I know these are the most expensive, but still they come in just under $100. But if you don't want to stretch your budget that far and still get an ear hook with a secure fit for your money, then I would pick the Truefree O2 as your second best option. Then you can choose either the Nank OE Mix or the Soundpeats GoFree 2, and you will get more or less the same for about more or less the same price. If you, however, got no deep pockets at all and want something that literally fits in those not too deep pockets easily, then you can hardly go wrong with the tiny QCY Crossky C30. I would personally suggest either going all in with the Soundcore or getting as much value as possible with the QCY, or should I say, the QCY buds. And this was my take on these 5 affordable open-style earbuds. If you liked it, then please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. All your comments are welcome as always. Thanks for watching everyone, hope to see you all in the next one.